Why American kids can't read anymore. The shocking truth teachers won't say out loud. Today we're going to look at one of the biggest educational crises in the United States. Why so many American kids can't read, even by middle school. I'll be reacting to a compilation of parents, teachers, and experts who are all saying the same terrifying thing. Our kids are becoming functionally illiterate.
Can we talk about how kids in America are illiterate? I have a counterpart, and she used to be a 7th grade teacher in the Dallas area. And she was like, you would not be shocked by the amount of students I had that could not write their name. And I mean physically write their name. Because they're so used to typing and computers that they can't physically write their names in the 7th grade. That is the craziest thing to me. That is the craziest oh my God. These kids can't read. That is so crazy. You're in 7th grade, you can't write your name. I don't even care that they got rid of cursive. I really don't. Because, whatever. But, writing... Don't get me started on reading comprehension. What is going on? I don't understand. Take the iPad away and, I don't know, get them a book.
It's honestly crazy that some 7th graders can't even write their own names. That's not just kids don't use cursive anymore. That's a deeper literacy issue. We've pushed so much typing and screen time that a lot of kids barely get any writing practice. And while she says cursive doesn't matter, I kind of think that it helps. Not for fancy penmanship, but because it actually builds reading flow and letter connection. When kids can't write their names, something's really off.
I don't care how many excuses you give. Reading starts at home. It's not the community's fault. It's not the teacher's fault. It's not the district's fault. A child has to read. They have to continue to repeat this task in order to gain reading, literacy skills, comprehension skills. All of those things are needed, and it starts at home. Parents are the first teachers. I made this comment on this creator's post regarding Black men literacy rates and the fact that you don't see many Black males compared to Black women in college. Now, I've had the opportunity to teach at an affluent white school in addition to Title I schools. And just let me tell you this, my Black male students at Title I schools, they were some of the strongest readers. They were also very, very strong in math because they were a strong reader. But the correlation was that they read at home. Their parents placed that in their structure, in their day-to-day activities. And some of these students came from single parents that were blue collar, single parents that worked all day. Those same students, because there was quite a few of them, they scored high on their end of grade level testing. Parents have to implement reading at home. My Black female pediatrician, the first thing that she did when I took my daughter to her appointment was give me a book. She said, you must read to your child. I mean, she's speaking to the choir, but reading is very necessary, and it starts at home.
Reading has to start at home. Parents don't need to run a full phonics program at the kitchen table, but kids should be surrounded by books, bedtime stories, and someone who actually talks to them. Teachers can only do so much in a class of 20 to 30 students. If a child's first exposure to language isn't until kindergarten, they're already behind. It's not about blaming parents, it's just the reality. Literacy begins long before school ever does.
These kids can barely read. They can barely fucking read, and y'all arguing so they can say.
Can confirm, as someone who just started substitute teaching, I can confirm that everything that the lady said in the TikTok I just stitched is very true. These kids cannot read. My first substitute assignment, I subbed in for a middle school English teacher. She left a packet of work for her students to complete in her absence. She left instructions for me to follow, and I looked over the packet. I'm thinking, oh, this is pretty standard stuff. It was like grammar practice with commas. And then they had to do like a crossword puzzle with some vocab words, use the vocab words in a sentence. I'm like, okay, this is basically your standard middle school busy work. I'm like, they'll knock this out, and then I figured they would be chill. Boy, was I wrong. The first thing that really shocked me was the fact that I had to tell so many students to write their name on their paper. Like, and then when they did, they would only write their first name. No last name, no date, no period they were in, none of that. I'm like, why do I have to tell y'all to write your full name? And then the penmanship, my God. I was like, I'm thinking to myself, y'all are what, 7th grade? Why are y'all writing like some of them wrote like a second or first grader. Like in terms of the penmanship, the quality, I'm like, looks like chicken scratch. And so the writing, because reading and writing are, let's be clear, the two go together. So that should have been my first clue, honestly. But that is what kind of shocked me first. Then when it came to time for them to actually do the packets, the kids did not want to read the instructions. They would literally take the packet and be like, raise their hand, I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? The first thing I asked them, did you read the instructions? They'd be like, oh, no. And I was like, read the instructions and then see if you still have questions. And then come to find out, a lot of these kids, like, they're not comfortable reading. By day 2 of my second assignment, it had become abundantly clear to me. America has a problem, and it's that these kids can't read. Like young Gen Z and these Gen Alpha babies, yeah, they can't read. They cannot read. And like another thing that shocked me was how low their vocabulary was and like their word recognition. They did not know how to recognize or pronounce certain words. I had some student ask me how to pronounce the word abbreviation and then ask me what that meant. One girl didn't know what segregated meant. So I was just like, y'all are like 12, 13 and don't know what segregated means, don't know what an abbreviation is. I was just really, really shocked that these kids. My theory is COVID. I blame COVID and George Bush. And COVID, I thought there was a gap with everyone having to be remote, but it was just crazy to actually see in real time. Like, yeah, these kids can't read.
It's pretty telling when a substitute walks into a middle school English class and thinks the work is elementary school level, and the kids still can't handle it. No names, no dates, or barely legible chicken scratch that looks like 2nd or 3rd grade handwriting. That's not laziness. That's a skills gap. When kids can't physically write, it almost always shows up in their reading too, because those skills develop together. And the moment he said they didn't read the instructions, it clicked. A lot of kids today don't have the reading stamina or vocabulary to get through even simple directions. So they freeze or copy each other. If you can't read well, you can't write well. And eventually, you stop trying altogether. This is exactly how a whole generation falls behind without anyone really noticing.
I don't know if I should find this very sad or very hilarious, but this is actually crazy. Illinois has 24 schools where not a single child can read at a grade level. Illinois State Board of Education schools with 0 students scoring proficient on the IAR or the SAT in 2024. These are all the schools that are listed right here, and you see that number right here, students proficient in reading, 0. Like, bro, what the heck is going on, man? Kids cannot even read on the 1st grade level. Think about that for a second. Do you know how sad that is? Kids in Illinois cannot read at a 1st grade level. You notice how the school district name for most of them are in CPS, which means most of these schools are from Chicago. I'm not even surprised about that, to be honest. I mostly blame the parents, because you're telling me we have 24 schools in Illinois where kids cannot even read at a grade level, not even a 1st grade level. And I blame the parents, because like, what are y'all parents doing? Like, y'all not teaching y'all kids how to read? To be honest, I'm kind of hoping that this is not true at all, because this don't even sound real. But hey, nowadays in this generation, bro, you got parents not even caring about what their kids do in school. So I wouldn't even be surprised.
If videos like this are important to you, make sure to share it, because the more we talk about this, the faster we can fix it. If you've seen these problems in your school or your kids' classrooms, drop your experience in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe, because in the next video, we're tackling the deeper systemic reasons behind America's reading crisis, and it gets even worse.